Radio Free Cybertron.
Transformers. Rewind.
This week on Transformers Rewind, it's Carnage in C minor. Because JD deserves it.
No.
No! Not when we're so close to victory!
The Autobots and Decepticons wind up on an alien planet after the inhabitants use a sound-based weapon to destroy a comet Galvatron nearly dropped on them. Soundwave is amazed by the perfection of the harmony, and Galvatron senses a new superweapon, and the two of them take off to find the source.
So much for the comet!
Ultra Magnus, Broadside, and Blaster go after them, leaving the other Autobots to probably be murdered by Devastator. After all, they're fresh out of aircraft carriers to drop on him.
No anti-aircraft defenses. They don't seem hostile.
That's because they aren't. This city, this world, this entire civilization is based on musical harmonies.
Well, where do we find the band leader? I want to talk to him.
Straight ahead is what the harmony said, but with this dude, it's gonna be no snap to rap.
So, that's why you should help us fight the Decepticons.
This is your war, not ours.
Bad news, Mag. He doesn't want to help us. He says their harmonies can keep the Decepticons at bay.
Is he certain all of his people would feel that way?
Anyone who doesn't can leave, just like Allegra.
Basso here says anybody who disagrees with him can do the big hike. Like somebody named Allegra?
Then that's who we want to talk to.
Who is this Allegra?
Apparently she shares the secret of Eurythma's harmonics.
Then we must win her to the Decepticon cause.
But how can we get to her before the Autobots do?
Leave that to me.
So many painful musical puns, voice filters, and animation errors later, Soundwave has obtained the destructive harmony, and Galvatron decides to use it to destroy Metroplex back on Earth. The Autobots have made friends with some of the aliens who go back to Earth with them to save the day, and Blaster erases all of Soundwave's pirated tapes. Damn bootleggers.
See what you did.
What we did? Get on the track, Jack. We took the fall cause you had to run it all.
We've seen your healing powers. Will you help us save our friends?
Ultra Magnus. Blaster. What happened?
It's a long story, Perceptor. I'll tell you on the way back to Earth.
Major malfunctions. Oh!
Ultra Magnus, Soundwave has already cranked up the harmony.
I expected as much. That's why we brought Basso Profundo, Allegra, and Z-Bop Scandana along.
Autobots! Impossible! Impossible!
Broadside, deploy our secret weapon.
How can they defeat our perfect sound?
With anti-sound, white noise.
This is so awful.
It was a very, very difficult episode to get through. You're just face palming a lot.
Well, start off, Galvatron's plan at the beginning of this is to drop a comet on Metroplex.
Right.
I mean, at least he stays to his goal through the end, because his goal with getting the Harmony is to destroy Metroplex. So the beginning goal is to destroy Metroplex with a comet. That doesn't work, so then he's going to get the Harmony and destroy Metroplex. So at least Galvatron was able to keep a sort of consistent plan, even though he changed the details.
Well,
other than
he
that,
has his lucid days.
Yeah. Other than that, this episode is absolutely horrible in so many ways.
It's like that, it's like the musical, Transformers the musical, except done badly.
Without the music.
Except without the music, yeah. But there's a lot of, Vince DiCola background music. I liked that, but it was, then they kind of shoehorned it to make it sound like it was the people of this world that were making it. I'm like, yeah, right.
Well, I mean, yeah, because they had like an opera style, like spoken voice singing,
which was tacky, which was really tacky.
Awful.
Every single time they talked, it was like,
yeah, I mean, sing talking.
Okay, so they have them talking like that, but of course they're still talking where you can tell what they're saying, but Blaster is still translating every single line they say.
That was really weird.
Ultra Magnus can't get what they're saying.
Odd. Which made it worse. Because it's like, I've already heard the stupid thing they just said. Yeah. Blaster repeating.
Well, then Soundwave having to do it for Galvatron too, so it was both sides. Both musical Transformers had to say something.
Do you think there was a script change in there? Like their original plan was to do like just some sort of unintelligible vocal, and then like
it had to be something like that. I can't see why they would purposely write the episode where the dialogue is doubled unless they could not write the episode to be long enough without repeating every spoken line of dialogue.
Which is certainly
or they just tried it and it just didn't work.
Yeah,
they were like, we need an episode. We don't want to rewrite it, so.
I mentioned before, I don't care much for Season 3, and the animation in this typifies why. At one point, it even looks like... Well, at one point, Superion is like the same height as Ultra Magnus. And
there's another point where Hotspot's standing next to Defensor.
Yeah, that happens. There's another point where they look like the super deformed Transformers, because their heads look really big, but their bodies look really small, and it's so bad, so bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just going to say, one other one that I saw was that Ultra Magnus at the beginning, he's taking two Constructicons in his hands and smashing them together, and he looks like he's as huge as Devastator. I was like, because they're like this big, and he's like, oh.
Yeah,
yeah, well.
Of course, the part I liked the best, which I referenced in the summary, was Broadside transforming to aircraft carrier mode and just falling on Devastator.
That was awesome.
I think it typifies why Broadside didn't get used very much, because it's kind of like, well, he's a jet, and useless aircraft carrier, cool. Like,
he can
not
land
a
on
lot of
himself.
aquatic, sea-based episodes, where you would need an aircraft carrier for something. Not to mention the completely... I mean, if you want to talk about how bad it is that you have a train and a, shuttle that you can go from one to the other, but just imagine a jet and an aircraft carrier. Just think about that for just a second.
Now, a jet aircraft carrier like Duocon team, that would be great.
Yeah, but still size.
But having one thing transform into both, not so much.
No. No.
Well, like I said, he can land on himself. If he can figure that out, that would be an awesome, party trick. Like,
That sounds
hey,
like a
look at this, and everybody, their eyes bug out.
But how many?
It seems like kind of a meta concept. Once you learn to land on yourself, the road to enlightenment will open before you.
That's right.
Oh.
I also like how the Autobots ride on him in jet mode. They just jump on his wings and like ride him, kind of like this like flying carpet.
Yeah, that's weird as well. They're just kind of hanging out and flying. It's like that seems very unsafe.
Yeah.
Like,
also, like if he can turn into an aircraft carrier, can he turn into a jet big enough for them to actually fit inside of him?
Somewhere, some
like, isn't that uncomfortable for him too?
You would think so, and it was like hurt the flying. You know, it was somewhere some Jewish mother is sending in a letter, you know, to Transformers, like, my son cannot watch this. It's a very unsafe way to fly on a plane. You know, it's like, oh my god, can't do that. That's, ugh.
The only thing that would have been better is if Broadside transferred to aircraft carrier mode to fly them around.
That would but I wouldn't put it past G2 or G3 or whatever. I mean, it's like, or the third season. It's just like, that's the kind of, you know, insane stuff that would happen in animation in, you know, the third season. Like, holy crap.
And while we're harping on Broadside anyway, it's not just this episode, but a recurring animation error usually has him with a Decepticon symbol.
Well, he's a jet, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
They get confused at the sweatshop. What are you going to do?
Right.
Great.
Like some poor guy is like on his like 36th hour of work, and he's like, oh.
That's right.
So, Season 3 had its ups and downs. Would you say this is maybe the worst episode of Season 3, or is there something out there that can beat this?
This is the worst episode of Transformers ever. I mean, I don't...
Oh, no, come on. We had Energon.
But is there a singing episode of Energon?
Well, even if there was, it wouldn't be in the dub version because that was handled so badly.
I mean, well, here's the thing, though. It's like, try to find the combination of an episode, and, you know, and I would fully accept emails and nominations. Find a Transformers episode that is not only written horribly, is annoying to even watch and listen to, but then is so visually screwed up that that your eyes start, like, bleeding from watching it. So it's like your ears, it's like, this is like a full body rejection. Like, watching this episode, like, your body literally wants to reject you.
Like they put a baboon heart in you.
Yeah, it's like,
step back.
Like, your head just wants to explode. It is so bad. Find me another Transformers episode that is both aurally and visually offensive in its horribleness, and I would gladly, like, try to come up with a hierarchy and see whether or not it's worse than Carnage in C minor. Ugh.
Well, you heard it here. Carnage in C minor is the transplanted baboon's heart of Transformers.